Hello, welcome back.
Yeah. Maybe I hope you had some time to digest some of the myths because we have more. Actually, Amanda has her own top 5 myths. So let's take a look at Amanda's list.
The eyes are the windows to the soul, and since young we've all been told how to care for our eyes, what to do and what not to do. But how to separate fact from fiction? Let's set the record straight with our top 5 eye myths.
Her face is a map of the world, is a map of the world. You can see she's a beautiful girl, she's a beautiful girl. And everything around her is a silver pool of light. People who surround her feel the benefit of it, it makes you count. She holds you captivated in her palm. Suddenly I see, this is what I wanna be. Suddenly I see, why the hell it means so much to me. Suddenly I see, this is what I wanna be. Suddenly I see, why the hell it means so much to me. And I feel like walking the world, like walking the world. And you can hear she's a beautiful girl, she's a beautiful girl. She fills up every corner like she's born in black and white. Makes you feel warmer when you're trying to remember what you heard. She likes to leave you hanging on a word. Suddenly I see, this is what I wanna be. Suddenly I see, why the hell it means so much to me. Suddenly I see, but this is what I wanna be. Suddenly I see, why the hell it means so much to me. And she's taller than most, and she's looking at me. I can see her eyes looking from the page of a magazine. She makes me feel like I could be a tower, big strong tower, yeah. The power to be, the power to give, the power to see, yeah, yeah. Suddenly I see, she got the power to be, the power to give, the power to see, yeah, yeah. Suddenly I see, she got the power to be, the power to give, the power to see, yeah, yeah, yeah. Suddenly I see, she got the power to be, the power to give, the power to see, yeah, yeah. Suddenly I see, she got the power to be, the power to give, the power to see, yeah, yeah. Suddenly I see, this is what I wanna be. Suddenly I see, why the hell it means so much to me. Suddenly I see.
Okay, no more already.
An artist
There's so
sacrifice.
much. So I was eating the carrots.
Okay.
So any
What do you guys think of the myths? Did Amanda get the truths right?
yeah.
No, she's pretty much right. Yeah, most of these are myths. A lot of the advice given by parents are actually for good eye habits. Basically, not reading in the dark just means that you don't strain your eyes. Having good lighting, not reading when you're lying in bed. These are just good eye habits. But even if a person does do all these, it doesn't actually damage the eye. So you can safely do it, but there is no harm not listening to this advice, so that at least you are reading in a very comfortable, lighted environment.
Lying is comfortable for me.
That's true.
Yeah, so basically it's really about adopting habits that does not really strain your eyes in the long run, because you do not want your eyes to really tire down. I mean, there are no real specific treatments, as what we have said, but I mean, you can always do something to kind of at least, well, make sure your eyes do not go into overwork.
Okay, we've talked about how we can use lenses and spectacles
to correct your
vision. How about maybe Dr. Ang can tell us a little bit more about LASIK and how does it work?
Well, LASIK surgery is the commonest refractive procedure, surgical procedure done in the world today to correct refractive errors, and it's really enjoyed great success because of its well-established safety and efficacy, its effectiveness. And essentially, LASIK is a two-stage procedure. Primarily, the whole aim for LASIK surgery is to reshape your cornea. If you are short-sighted, meaning your eyeball is too long or your cornea is too steep, what we do is we flatten your cornea by using a laser to reshape it. If you are long-sighted, meaning your eyeball is either too short or your cornea is too flat, we can steepen your cornea. LASIK is 2 stages. You create a flap first, a cornea flap, a partial cornea flap, and then you use a laser to reshape it, and then you put the flap back. And the advantage is that the visual recovery is very fast, it's comfortable, and patients enjoy that wow effect. The next day they can essentially function normally and go back to work within a day or two after the surgery.
So can anyone go for LASIK? Like, are there certain conditions like your degree can't be like 800?
Well, I think basically you should be at least 18 years of age so that your eyes would have reached a fairly mature size. You should also have stable degrees for at least 6 months to a year. And during the assessment, we want to exclude any eye diseases which may affect your result. So certain eye conditions like irregular corneas may not be suitable, are not suitable for LASIK, like patients with keratoconus. So we want to exclude all these conditions. We also want to see how high the degree is, because if the corneas are too thin for a full treatment, the patient may not be suitable as well. So not everybody is suitable for LASIK, and so the initial assessment by the doctor will determine essentially whether it's safe to proceed and what will the ideal treatment be for the person.
Okay, so can a person get short-sighted again after
after
doing
LASIK?
LASIK? I mean, of course, I just want to do it once, right?
Right. Well, yes, a person can, because everybody, as we mentioned, a lot of the refractive error is genetically predetermined. Part of it is environmental, but once you reach beyond the age of about 21, 18 to 21, statistically speaking, the degrees don't really change significantly throughout the person's lifetime from the age of 21 onwards. Statistically speaking, it doesn't really change more than 100 or 200 degrees. But it can still change if the genetic programming for the person is such that the person's degree was going to increase. Now, LASIK surgery addresses the degree error at that point in time, and it corrects it, and it can correct it very precisely. But you cannot prevent a person's degree from increasing if his genetic programming was such that it was going to increase anyway, i.e. the person's fate. The person was going to increase, it may still increase. But the beauty of LASIK surgery is that you can even fine-tune the eye, any degree which increases or any leftover degrees, even 5-10 years down the road, to keep the person spectacle-free, contact lens-free throughout the person's lifetime. So LASIK surgery, you can do it once, and the beauty of it is you can safely, if the corneas are thick enough, top it up even 5-10 years down the road to make sure that the person continues to remain spectacle-free.
Okay. Just now you mentioned...
So really, as Dr. Ang said, I mean, it's really about going through making sure that the consultation is rigorous enough to assess conditions, like making sure that the cornea is actually thick enough for laser surgery to be actually performed in the most appropriate manner. So these are things that I believe our consumers out there do have to be aware of as well.
Now, Dr. mentioned that, to be at least 18 so that sort of your eyesight has sort of stabilized, but I think mine hasn't really.
Mine
And
still
like
increases.
my optician said, when you are an adult, then you will stabilize. I'm like, I'm an adult already. What?
Well, for people whose degrees are very high, there is a tendency for that person's degree to still continue to increase a little bit. But generally, most people's degree do not increase significantly beyond the age of 21.
So significantly, what's the range?
More than 100 degrees or 200 degrees.
Okay.
It's not common for it to. So most of the time, it may increase 50 degrees over 2 to 3 years, gradual, very gradual. Occasionally, you have some people whose degree continue to progress. So the person can monitor his spectacle correction or his contact lens power. If the person's power continues to be increasing steadily, then maybe that may not be the ideal time to do LASIK surgery. But there is the component, as we said, you demonstrated before, when one person goes to an optician and he goes next time, the degrees appear to change from one optician to another. A lot of times that's because if the optician did not really, or if the person was tense, the examination was a little bit rushed, or he had just finished a long period of studying or doing a lot of near work, his eyes may be under strain, and that may give you that false myopia to add on to his real, true myopia. So if the person is 800 degrees,
okay.
maybe on a day when he's been doing a lot of near work, his degree may appear to be 850 degrees when he goes for a check at the end of the day. But it's not true 850 degrees. Actually, when he rests for the weekend, his degree goes back to 800 degrees. So it is true that sometimes when your degrees change, it may not be a true change. It may just be that during that period of time, it was checked to be a little bit higher, but after a period of relaxation, it goes back to normal. So the degrees can change. That explains why some opticians can change from one degree to another, between a few months. But after relaxation, it goes back to normal. So most of the time, the degrees are fairly stable above the age of 21. But if the person does notice a significant increase, then he can consult the optometrist or the eye specialist, and then he can tell you whether or not that's an appropriate time to do LASIK surgery.
Okay. So what is about the... I think I'm quite average. So I said average 500.
The degree,
Yeah, on average, 3 to 500 degrees may be considered an average degree for a person. 800 degrees is considered high myopia. I mean, in general, when we talk about high myopia, 600 degrees to 700 degrees and above, by definition, is high myopia.
I mean, we've all heard of people with degrees like in the thousand plus. How dangerous is that to be at that stage and it's sort of like verging on blindness? Yeah,
I mean, apart from the significant visual disability, you're absolutely right. The person doesn't wear glasses, he's actually legally blind. He cannot see much. Apart from his visual disability, there are also other complications may arise from highly short-sighted people. Like he has higher risk of retinal tears, retinal detachments. These are all related to the the very highly short-sighted eye. So basically, a general rule of thumb is that if the person notices any significant change in symptoms, blurring of vision that does not improve over time, he should seek an eye consultation, because other things do happen related to being very short-sighted.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually if you were to actually seek the correct consultation, especially with a qualified optometrist, sometimes they are the first person to actually come in contact with this condition. So a full eye examination may even include checking the eye pressure within the eyes. So going to a good optometrist does help as well, because that's where you actually really first detect a certain eye condition, and that's when you can probably be referred to a suitable doctor to actually treat it while it's in its infancy stage.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we have to go. We hope all of you
time we have
a clearer picture of how to take care of your eyes and what to do and what not to do. We'd like to thank our guests, Dr. Ang and Ng Quan Wei, for being with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.